I think it's fair to say that when the torch relay began, 5 months before the Winter Olympics opening ceremonies, it began very quietly on the west coast of Canada and then went north to the Canadian high Arctic and then to the east coast. And Canadians slowly, day after day, week after week, as television news organizations, mostly CTV, was covering an outpouring of Canadian citizens in the towns and the villages. It grew and it grew and it grew. And in many ways, it was sort of like a little spark that grew into a torch. And by the time it hit the night before the opening ceremonies, the entire country was witnessing a bonfire. And the organizers of the torch relay, when we approached them and we said to them, we're thinking of carrying this thing live. We've got this new technology. We want to try it out. The Olympic organizers were not very supportive of the idea. They, quite frankly, were afraid of it. In recent years and over the decades in torch relays, television news would come in, shoot a little bit, and leave. Come in, shoot a little bit, and leave. Our objective was to cover the torch relay from sunrise until sunset every single day. When CTV News decided to invest in an experiment to see if it would work, Dejero and the leaders at Dejero were very keen on working with us on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour, night-by-night basis. When we had some experiments that weren't working, when we were trying to get this going and that going, Dejero actually flew its own technicians and senior staff to Vancouver, looked at our layout as to how we had mounted the camera and where we put the Dejero transmitter box and how it would work. And we were dealing with something, as I say, that had never been done before. Simple things like shakiness of the box, being between transmitter towers, going from a cell phone 3G service to a 2G service area, to an underperforming area, to a very rural area. Dejero and Dejero senior staff were so keen on making the experiment with CTV work that I only have the highest accolades to say about Dejero's support. This was the beginning for us of shooting live pictures in a live event that went on for 4 months, every day from sunrise to sunset in the horrible Canadian winter. It did not require a lot of people, and it did not require cases and cases and cases of television gear, which to us was a joy because we were moving every day in a different motel or hotel every night, and all we had in terms of gear was a high-end mini portable high-definition camera on a mount with an external microphone and the Dejero box. Halfway through the torch relay, the Olympic organizers were so stunned at the success of this, they were sending us notes of congratulation. And on top of that, the Vancouver Olympics was run during one of the worst recessions in worldwide history. Advertisers had left, and a lot of the money and the excitement had dissipated because of the worldwide recession. But when they saw CTV's coverage of the torch relay, many, many Canadian, North American, and worldwide advertisers had come back because the advertising and business community themselves had been ignited as this torch was going to the Vancouver Olympics. At the end of 100 days, with live coverage of the torch relay, a lot of other CTV and other Canadian television producers, correspondents, and news directors suddenly realized that, wow, we can go anywhere as long as there's cell phone service with the Dejero box.